recently acquired this particular sword. Some of you might recognize it pretty much right away. It is a entry-level economy kind of Euro that's supposed to be good quality but affordable because they've cut a few corners. Unfortunately, they cut so many corners that it's sad, really. When I first received this, first impression, I look at it, oh, looks pretty nice. The blade looks nice. No secondary bevel. Things look pretty good until you start examining and getting into what this sword really is. This blade is a very nice blade. It's nicely shaped. It's got nice distal taper. No secondary bevel. It's a very nice blade. It has lots of flex. Exactly what you want in a Euro blade. Very nice design. I love the blade on this thing. However, when I took the thing apart, a house is only as good as its foundation. And as I took this apart, I made a few discoveries about what's behind this remarkable blade. Solid pommel, not too bad. The first thing I noticed right away is this piece of welded rod on the end. Generally, that's not too much of a concern. A lot of good sword manufacturers have constructed swords like this. At least it has a full tang down to here. Not a very big, thick, wide tang, but solid enough coming down to here. Now, the problem is that there are gaps in the weld. It's not a good weld. This could theoretically punch over. With the pommel on, it has a capacity to punch over sideways where it's not strong right there. As part of the project I'm going to do to this particular piece is I'm going to attempt a little bit of welding right there to make it a little more solid, at the risk of changing the temper of it. However, I don't know if that's going to make much difference or not. At least I'll know it's a little bit more solid weld on there. So that was the first thing that caused me concern. The second thing is this tubular hex nut that holds the pommel on. It's very, very loose on the threads, even tightened right down. If you try to tighten this up, it's going to peel the threads right out of it. It's not well machined. As you can see, there's a lot of play in the threads. There should be able to snug that down without worrying about peeling threads off, and you can almost jam it on there without screwing it. So that has some concern too. I don't know. I don't think it's the actual rod itself, because it's just a piece of standard threaded bolt rod or whatever. It must be the machining of this hex nut. Perhaps I'll find something else that has better threads that fit a little snugger, a good grade bolt or a good grade nut or something. Maybe I'll take it down and screw the nut down and then peen the end of this over a bit to hold it on. Next, I looked at this grip for this sword. Right off the bat, it feels very light. It is cord wrapped, and then it has a thin leather around it, which I'm not sure. I've tried to determine if this is real leather, and I don't think it is. We'll get into that too in a little bit. But first things first is this core is broken in 4 places, complete splits down the sides, top and bottom. You can squeeze it and just open up all these big cracks. Top and bottom and both sides are split right down. The only thing really holding this together is the cord wrap around. I didn't start peeling this off, by the way. This is actually just coming apart, and that's another thing I'll get into about this. So this grip pretty much has to be scrapped. It's just it's garbage, and it's very loose fitting, even right down where it would be against the cross guard. It turns, it's loose side to side. It's horrible. So that's got to be scrapped. Get one of my wonderful friends in the sword community to maybe make me up a new grip. Another thing I noticed about this is the off-center of the tang. I saw pictures of another sword from this company that has the same different model of sword, Euro, but it had the exact same problem where the whole tang is off-center from the middle of the sword. So anyway, like I said, the foundation of the blade, the tang here in the end nut, I have to do something with that. I'll probably lower the shoulders here a little bit in order to get a little more meat out of this, make it a little stronger, and a new grip and a new pommel nut. The cross guard, let me see here, is not too bad. You can see where, like I said, the off-center of the when this fits on, it's snug on one side with a big gap on the other side, but it does fit down into a recess on the blade shoulders there, so that's not too much of an issue. The only issue I have with this really is the size of it. I don't really like how far these come out. It really, I don't know what it was designed after, but for example, the similar type cross guard on the Handway Tinker early medieval single hand is 6¼ inches from here, or 6½ inches from here to here. This one is 8¼ I'm going to take about ½ inch off of each side of these big sharp, I don't know why they have to have them almost like blades on the end. I'm just going to hurt myself with that. But anyway, so I'll be doing some modifications to this to tone it down a little bit, make it a little more, I just think it looks too big. But maybe that's personal taste, I don't know. So there's the construction of the sword itself. Next is this scabbard and suspension system. You think, oh great, you know, order a sword, it's got a wood core scabbard with a suspension system. Make no mistake, none of this is leather. Not any of it. This here, as you can see, I can move the material on the scabbard and actually pick it up, pinch it and stretch it. It's some kind of vinyl faux leather, and it's not glued on, it's just stretched around. It has been stitched or whatever and then put on. And again, the stitching was already starting to come apart up here when I got it. You can see it's not real leather, it's got like spongy material in behind it. And it's just a pleather or some kind of vinyl. The suspension system itself, again, it's not real leather. It's a pleather with a spongy rubber core to it, and then it's just plain steel rivets and 2 brass buckles here. And a brass buckle around the belt part. This, I mean, you know, this here should have had a retaining loop here for this end to go into, so that it's solid there. Instead, it's just sort of it goes through the one thing and it just sort of hangs there. And to me, it doesn't seem like it's not attractive. It's not well done. These pieces that are cut, the ends are already fraying apart because they're not stitched across. It's less like lengths of this has been cut, looped and riveted. The parts that go around the scabbard itself here are tied with a piece of string material. It looks like, I don't know, looks like boot lace or something. I'm not skilled enough to recover the scabbard, unfortunately, so it's going to have to probably stay with this vinyl stuff, and I can't weather it or anything because it's not like leather that you can work with and weather it and give it some character or anything, so it's just going to have to stay the way it is, unfortunately. This is the whole suspension system is simply getting cut off, and I will make something for it. Some kind of a suspension system out of real leather. This is real costumey. This looks like something you'd buy at Walmart for Halloween. This suspension system. It was really disappointing to get a good look at it. So anyway, there it is. It is what it is. Their scabbard. Very. Oops! I just squeezed it and broke it. Sorry about that. Like I said, the blade has great potential. If you want to use it as a project blade, maybe. If I were the manufacturer of this sword, I would get rid of this crap altogether, this suspension system. If that helps bring the sword down a few bucks in price, well, that's a bonus too, because anybody who is interested in having a sword like this is not going to want this crap on there anyway. That being said, like I said, the blade has potential if you want to do a little bit of modifications to it and make a project out of it. But pretty much, and the fittings are, the pommel and cross guard aren't bad. They're nicely made. If more of their swords, from what I hear, are manufactured with this kind of grip that's so thin and flimsy, ill-fitting, and cracked all over, you know, they're going to have some real serious issues with these swords and their customers, unfortunately. I hope they take care of the issues, because we all want to have manufactured swords that are affordable, that are decent in quality. They don't have to be great quality. We're all not looking for you know, top quality swords for a basement price, but we do want our value. We do want something that we're not going to unbox and go, huh? You know, so this one needs some work from the manufacturer before it's going to be something that I would recommend to anybody. As it is right now, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. Sorry, it's just the way it is.